Armchair.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
Why did you get so drunk?
You got drunk. I'm just really exhausted.
What's in that cup?
Arma Cokes?
Do you have any idea how important this is? We're trying to save the pub girl. Really, this is what you're doing? This is what you're doing?
Chief, what do you want to do tonight?
Same thing we do every night. Try to take over the world.
106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Armchair.
YouTube Live?
Radio station.
The radio station you can call your own. Do you know what listeners like about our station?
I like everything. It's always on my radio.
We never stop the music, except for now, when I talk.
Saturday, December 13th, 3 p.m. Eastern, it's the annual battle, the Army-Navy game in Baltimore, Maryland. Braves Country Radio will bring it to you live from coast to coast and around the globe. A salute to all the men and women who have served and continue to serve this great nation. This year will be the 126th meeting between the Army Black Knights and the Navy Midshipmen. Join us live and we'll bring you play-by-play of America's game, Army versus Navy. 8 of the last 11 matchups being decided by one score, including the double overtime thriller in 2022. It's Army-Navy.
We are Army.
Navy-Army. America's game, heard around the world.
Armchair.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
Why did you get so drunk?
You got drunk. I'm just really exhausted.
What's in that cup?
Arma Cokes?
Do you have any idea how important this is? We're trying to save the pub girl. Really, this is what you're doing? This is what you're doing?
Chief, what do you want to do tonight?
Same thing we do every night. Try to take over the world.
106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Armchair.
YouTube Live?
Radio station.
The radio station you can call your own. Do you know what listeners like about our station?
I like everything. It's always on my radio.
We never stop the music, except for now, when I talk.
Armchair.
Do you think you got me a tape of the show?
What on earth for?
Well, how often do you get to hear your son on the radio?
I'm on the radio every day.
You're listening to WQVZ, 1700 AM Mission Radio.
For me and the Lord, we got an understanding. We're on a mission from God.
No one talks in my meeting. No one! Think you can run this? If you could, then I wouldn't be here. Because I'm sick and tired of our football team getting pushed all over the field. I want precision. This is an institution of learning, ladies and gentlemen. You've tried it your way for years. They've given me less than 1 year to turn this place around. Forget about the way it used to be. This is not a damn democracy. We are in a state of emergency, and my word is law.
10 years ago, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from maximum security stockade. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire...
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. He's the all-American man. Yeah, the armchair.
Hey, howdy, hi, and how the hell are you? Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show. Welcoming in Mr. Doug. Doug Softberg. What? How are you?
Doing good. Doing great. Thank you.
And Bobby the Kid, how are you, sir?
It's a great week. Billy Napier is gone. As you know, the Cardinals are on a bye week. And I'm not sure if you just kept up with some of the news that just came out. I'm not sure if it's on the ticker you have at the bottom, but Chauncey Billups, have you heard about him?
What happened?
Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups. He was arrested by the FBI and related to illegal gambling operations.
I was just about to ask, was it gambling?
Yep, him and Terry Rozier both.
Him and Terry Rozier. Wow.
Yep, and I think there may be more. They're holding a press conference at 10
Where
Eastern.
is Terry Rozier nowadays?
He is in Miami. He's on the Heat, and if you watch some of his games with the Heat, it'd be evident that something's afoot. So,
man, that is a disaster. Chauncey Billups, man.
Yeah, and I wasn't a big fan of him. I wasn't a big fan of him as the coach of my Trailblazers. So, I'm assuming this is the end of the road for him as a head coach.
No, but even still, I mean, he's kind of ruined his legacy.
Yeah.
If these charges are true.
Yeah, just as a player, he was a fantastic player with the Pistons. Part of the championship winning team. Big part of it.
Yeah, that's that's big news. That just happened this morning, or?
Yep, about 15-20 minutes ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, well, I mean, for the kids that don't know, Chauncey Billups was a hell of a point guard at one point.
Yeah.
So that's wow. Thanks for the heads up there. I'm looking to see if there's any other. I usually get the latest news, but I didn't make it down to the NBA part of it. I did watch quite a bit of the Celtics 76ers last night. Celtics ended up choking away in the end, but all in all, I was impressed. I didn't know what to expect from the actual 2025-26 version of my Boston Celtics, because not having Tatum and whatnot. But I'll tell you what, that kid Kata that we got. Good night, Irene. This kid is a monster. Got him from Sacramento.
Yeah.
I was looking him up. This kid is an absolute beast inside, man. So they might have something going there. I don't worry about a loss or two at the very beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And my expectations are much lower than they have been. This year, I want to see if we get in the playoffs, what kind of damage we can do. Because without Jason Tatum, you can't have these championship delusions. I do think it's possible that they could put together a run with the talent that they have, but that's a long way to go and a short time to get there. So, but regardless, the NBA season's off and rolling. We've got, man, I'll tell you what. So I had to jot it down to talk about. Bobby's already brought up the Florida side of it.
Yeah.
So the Billy Napier is gone, and yet somehow Mike Norvell is hanging around.
It's shocking to me. You know, it's funny. Another Norvell got fired. I think the Colorado State coach got fired over the weekend too. He wasn't even the Norvell that got fired.
Well, what's dumb about it is if you read the statement, they might as well have just said dead man walking.
Yeah.
Because they said that the short of it, they said we're here to make sure that we're behind Mike Norvell and his staff to make the best of, or make the most of this 2025 season. You might as well have just said he's done.
He's done at the end
Why
of the year.
not fire his ass? You could let either Tony White be an interim or Chauncey Billups, doesn't matter. Or maybe Gus Malzahn. I just figure if you can make Chauncey Billups the damn interim, maybe we'd know which way to bet.
True.
But it doesn't make any sense. It's going to hurt you on the recruiting front. They're off this weekend as well. I'm telling you, next Saturday, it's going to be met with the course of booze for those who are there. They host Wake Forest. What is the best case scenario?
Yeah.
He wins out and he forces you to keep him around. He could not beat a terrible Stanford team who lost their starting quarterback. And I get it that FSU starting quarterback went down midway through the fourth quarter. But it wasn't like we were dominating the game before he went out.
Yeah.
He sucks. We talked about it last week. He sucks. We talked about the week before. He sucks. They
And
made
that
an
statement,
poor
the
decision.
statement that Florida State made is crazy because that's just an admission that you're going to fire him at the end of the year, essentially.
That's exactly what it is.
So, and
So
the
what is- I
like
don't
you
know what
mentioned
the
with
end game is.
yeah, and like you mentioned with recruiting, I mean, with how the transfer portal works, a lot of times when coaches get fired, even if it's a unanimously agreed on bad coach, the players that were recruited by that coach often hit the transfer portal. So I don't know why you're giving him more time to cause more of a mess later down the line.
John saying that the gambling arrests are due to a poker operation with ties to the mafia.
Wow. Okay.
So it may not even be basketball related. I just assumed it was. I just assumed it had to be basketball gambling.
I figured Chauncey Billups had Anthony Edwards over last night. So
yeah, that's what I was thinking. So it's got nothing to do with that. Well, it could all spiral in.
Who knows?
I need to get the audio. I've been so busy with the MLB postseason, but I need to get the audio at some point, and I will during the off season. I may need a reminder from Bobby. Bobby, if you're shooting me a text sometime close to the end of the World Series. But there's a pretty good audio of the guy who was involved in the Shohei Ohtani gambling scheme. He was the bookie, actually, is what his title is. And his views on it, and it's pretty interesting. He doesn't come out and say it, but he basically says that Ohtani had to be aware of the gambling. Yeah. He doesn't think that Ohtani necessarily was involved in baseball gambling, but there was no way in hell Ohtani didn't know about the gambling with his friend gambling on soccer, right? Evidently, his friend lost a boat ton of money on soccer.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah, nearly $6 million worth.
When they finally fire Mike Norvell, it's going to be a little bit of this, baby. My wife for me yesterday came in the mail. We had one of these back. God, that's been 20-something years ago. We had a little store in the Middle Tennessee area that sold all kinds of Florida State, Tennessee, SEC, NFL kind of memorabilia and shirts and jerseys and hats. And I remembered that grill, and for some reason it came across her timeline. She goes, "Have you ever seen this before?" I was like, "Damn, I had that thing." I was like, "That was like the greatest thing ever." And when I went through 100 moves between the last 25 years, and I either tossed it or it got lost. I don't remember what happened to it. But I had a Tennessee and a Florida State one because they used to sit side by side. So she went out and got me a thing. I couldn't believe when we hit the play button, the damn thing worked. Like, this thing has got to be at the best case scenario, it's 20 years old.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe someone made this thing in 2005, but I guarantee you, when we were selling this exact same thing, I remember exactly what it was, because we had that store open and ordering that junk came in the fall of 9/11. So it's been that long ago. So anyways, I had to pimp that guy out. So all right, we got doing a little time to get into it. But Doug, do you want to bitch and moan about anything with the Raiders or anything?
Only thing I could bitch and moan about is how the Mariners lost that Game 7. What was Dan Wilson thinking about? Not putting Munoz in and actually pitching the ball at George Springer. What were they thinking? Just watching a team just throw away their chance at their first World Series.
I'm putting it on the screen here just for anyone who wants to throw any fantasy football questions at us. We can see them here on the everything going on the side, and I can see it in here. I was not impressed with Dan Wilson's managing. I called every pitch of that series, and it just, I'll be honest with you, it was a dud. I don't think he's going to get fired because he took a team all the way to the brink of an AL pennant, and this franchise has never had an AL, has never won the pennant before. They're the only team in baseball who's never won a pennant. Well, that's technically true. But anyways, I don't like anything that he did in that series when push came to shove. I thought he got incredibly outmanaged by Schneider.
Mm-hmm.
Incredibly outmanaged. And hopefully that's a good omen for Toronto. Hopefully Schneider will go out there and I don't think it's hard to outmanage Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts just has the best toys to manage with.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm looking forward to that. We're going to do pitch-by-pitch, play-by-play on Braves Country Radio on the 3D. If you haven't caught that before, we'll find us over on Braves Country Radio. That starts tomorrow night. And looking forward to it. We've had really good crowds in there. I think we had 45,000 for the Game 7. And that wasn't even the biggest one of the entire postseason so far. I think one of the Cleveland Detroit games, I think it was, reached all the way to 78,000. So
wow.
Yeah, we've already done over 500,000 in October.
Nice.
Which I'll compare the numbers down the road, but speaking of that, we're trying to get Armchair QB monetized for these guys. So let me see here. John does have a question. I traded McLaurin for Mike Evans the day before Evans broke his collarbone. Oh, man, that's brutal.
Poor John. That's a tough one.
John, if you could make the playoffs, they're saying Evans could be back by mid-December, which puts you right there in the fantasy playoffs. But that's still brutal. Now, one thing about McLaurin, he hasn't done a whole hell of a lot. He's been hurt. He has been McLaurin. Other than last year was the outlier. It's the reason why I never drafted that jackass. I finally drafted him in 1 or 2 leagues, and he's been what he's always been. Injury prone, always the man, he's about to break out this week. That one idiot that used to be on ESPN that now is on the NBC show that nobody watches. What the hell is his name? Daniel Barry. He's he was always a big Redskin guy, so he was always pumping damn McLaurin down everybody's throat. He's one of the most overrated of his career. Is overrated as hell. Now last year was great, but he's been McLaurin. All right, we got to get to cracking because we're going to run out of time because I got some work to be. We have to finish this thing in about the next 25-30 minutes. So first thing we'll do is Bobby and I both took Kansas City last week. I did that so if they lost, we could restart with Doug. Instead, we both won. So, Bobby, you give me your stupid underdog picks, and Bobby, if you can remember to put everything in the chat, I'll put it on the screen as we go along. I'm gonna let you pick first because I'm gonna pick something different.
All right, pick it for Survivor, right?
Yeah, Survivor.
All right, I'm gonna go with Patriots over Browns this week. I just think the Patriots are considerably a better team. Drake May, he's playing great right now. One of the candidates in the running for the MVP race, although it's not a very stacked race. But I think the Patriots are a much better team. They're in good form right now. Give me them over the Browns.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and take the Colts. Why? Because they're playing the Titans, and Titans suck. That's it. That's my breakdown. Titans are terrible. I've watched them almost every Sunday, even if it's in the background when we're doing a baseball game. They are brutal to watch. And I don't care what anybody says. I was right. You remember back during the draft, Bobby, I said, trade down and get Jackson Dart. And freaking 2 years in a row, I've been right about this. The year before, it was Jaden Daniels. I was like, Daniels is the guy.
Yeah.
This year, I was like, Cam Ward is going to be nothing but a bunch of cabbage because he spent his senior year or his final year at Miami in front of a very good offensive line, playing a down ACC, and he sat back there and just cherry picked all. And now he's running for his life. He has very little to no mobility, and he's having to create stuff. In Jackson Dart would have been a better fit. I'm not saying Cam Ward couldn't be good somewhere. He could be very good somewhere, but it's going to take more to build, and Jackson Dart's already doing Jackson Dart things.
Yep.
How about that combo, Dart and Scataboo?
That's fun to watch, man.
Why? Where do we get Scataboo from when there's only one damn O? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I've always been confused like that. I've always said it was Scataboo.
It was Scataboo before he got famous.
Yeah.
When he got famous, it turned into Scataboo. I think it's just people like to say Scataboo and go boo. I think that's the only reason why they do it. All right. So Bobby took the Patriots against the Browns. I don't hate that one at all. I actually had one of those ones jotted down, but I want to make sure we're taking opposite ones. That way Doug can get back into the fray as soon as possible. And then I take okay. We'll go to the next thing on the board.
There's no need to fear.
Stupid.
Underdog is here.
Stupid.
Underdog.
Stupid.
Underdog.
All right, stupid underdog, real quick. What this is you take a underdog to win outright, an underdog to win outright. If they cover the spread, you get 3. If they don't cover the spread, you lose 3. But if they win outright, you get the points that they were underdogged of. So, first man on the board, we'll go ahead and throw the standings up real quick, is wrong one. There we go. Bobby, you are in last place, so it is your turn. What do you got on the stupid underdog?
Well, I know this is traditionally a college team that we pick, but this week I'm going to go with the Bears sitting at plus 6.5 versus the Ravens. I know it's looking like Lamar Jackson's going to be back. However, it seems pretty rushed because for a while it was looking like he'd be out for a couple weeks at least, and he's coming back already for this Bears game. And even before he went out, the state of the Ravens, they're not playing good right now. They're a really poor team at the moment. And the Bears, they've got all the momentum on their side. They're red hot. Their offense is really clicking. They got some good talent on defense. I really like what Ben Johnson has done to turn this team around. So I'm going to go with the Bears at plus 6.5 for my stupid underdog.
All right. Bears plus 6.5. Doug, what you got?
I've got BYU and Iowa State. Give me BYU to win this game. I don't even understand why BYU is the underdog here, but I'll take it. Iowa State, you guys already know how I feel about Iowa State. I think BYU is a legit top 15 team, one of the better offenses in the top 15. So give me BYU the win.
BYU with the win. By the way, MTSU almost pulled off the upset last night. They were 9.5-point underdogs.
Yeah.
They almost pulled off the upset. I watched quite a bit of that game. So BYU. BYU. What was the line on that? Plus 3.5 or 2.5?
2.5.
Your strategy never makes sense to me, Doug. But anyways,
but it works sometimes.
Not again.
A lot of time into it. I'll break it down next week. If you remind me, I'll break it down next week. Why I get confused by your strategy on the stupid underdogs primarily. I'm going to go ahead and look, this is a flip of the coin. I don't really know which one I even like better, but I'm going to go with the one that I'm more likely to watch. And that is, I'm going to take Michigan State to upend Michigan. I just don't think Michigan's that dominant of a football team. So give me Michigan State to upend Michigan. They're 14.5-point underdogs. 14.5-point underdogs. I almost took West Virginia. West Virginia is one of my favorite underdogs this year. But I feel like I've gone to that well too much. And West Virginia is getting 15.5. But they are at home against TCU. TCU, obviously, I think is a much better team. But both games are on the road, and we'll just stick with Michigan State. Doug, what's your first NFL pick of the week?
My first one is Giants and Eagles at 1:00. I got the over at 43.5. I think it's just going to be a high-scoring game. The Eagles, the Eagles should. I got them scoring at least team total 26.5, and I know the Giants offensively have played a lot better lately, so definitely give me the over.
Okay, Bobby, what say you?
I think Bobby was so perplexed by my underdog strategy, he left.
Did we lose Bobby? Oh,
yeah.
Bad. Was over typing away.
Yeah.
Bobby,
I don't know. My thing just went down and showed me like the join a group thing. It was weird. So are we going with our 6-pack picks now?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, my first 6-pack pick, I'm going to go with the 49ers at -1.5 versus the Texans. The Texans suck. Their offensive line is terrible, and I think Robert Saleh is a good defense coordinator. I think he's going to scheme up a way to get after C.J. Stroud and take advantage of that poor offensive line of the Texans. Give me 49ers -1.5.
Or plus 1.5.
They said that +1.5 for you?
Yeah, that's why I was just asking. I just want to make sure I didn't make a mistake.
Oh, yeah. 49ers +1.5. Wow, I misread that. I would still take them as the favorite. That's incredible.
Yeah.
All right.
You're saying take them as the favorite. They're the underdog.
They're the underdog.
Yes.
I misread it. I thought they were a 1.5-point favorite. They're actually a 1.5-point underdog. So I'm
Okay.
more confident.
I was just
in
making
that.
sure because what y'all said didn't make a lot of sense. San Francisco +1.5. That's the headline. All right. What else we got here? I've got the Giants +7.5. Look, they roasted the freaking Eagles. And I get it. It's going to be a revenge. They're in Philly. I still think it's a bad matchup for the Eagles. And if you're going to give me a touchdown and a hook, put that in my pocket. I'm going to take it every day. So give me the Giants +7.5. And I do think the Giants are going to be a little more motivated because they blew that game against Denver. They were the better team until the fourth quarter happened, and there was an absolute collapse by the Giants. I still think that the Giants are still a live bet right now to win their at the beginning of the year. Their over-under was 5.5. They're sitting at 2. I think there's a chance the Giants they needed that win last week, but they could still get to that 6.
Yeah.
Doug, what you got on the next one?
I'm just going to echo what Bobby said, because I had San Fran winning as well for all the same reason he did. Take San Francisco all day. I don't even know why they're the underdog in this game. I don't understand it at all. So, yeah, give me San Fran 1.5. You got George Kittle coming back too, which is going to open McCaffrey's game. I think they're just going to jam it down the Texans' throat.
All right. Bobby, what you got?
My next pick, I'm going to go with Bucks -3.5 against the Saints. I know Baker Mayfield's listed as questionable for this game, but he said to the media how much he hates the Saints, so I think there could be a little extra motivation for him to get back out there. And even if they have to send their backup quarterback out there, which I believe is Teddy Bridgewater, the Saints are not good at all. So give me Bucks -3.5 here.
Yeah, it was 5.5 before the news broke. I'm with you. I think he plays.
Yeah, I do too.
Looking at that interview, he didn't seem like a guy who wasn't playing.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be talking about how much he hates the Saints if he wasn't going out there.
I do. The only thing that makes me nervous about this game because I think the Bucks are much better than the Saints. For some reason, that rivalry seems to come down to a field goal.
True.
I don't want anything to do with it, but I understand where you're at on it. But no Evans. They said Godwin may come back. They've already ruled out Irving, I think, already. I think I saw that yesterday. So, but honestly, the people that have been filling in for these guys have actually done a pretty good job.
They've been doing great, yeah.
And what about Tez Johnson? I mean, Tez Johnson sighting in the last game. I'm interested to see how that game plays out. The 3.5 makes me nervous. I'm hoping it becomes so questionable it gets below that hook, and I can grab it at the 2.5 2 mark.
Yeah, that would be great.
My next one, I know there's injury concerns. I know Kansas City's starting to look good, but you're going to give me 12.5 points in the Commanders on Monday Night Football. I'm going to take it all day long. I don't care who plays. The Commanders ought to keep that game close. Somehow, some way, they ought to keep that game close. Give me 12.5. I almost took them as a stupid underdog, but I was like, well, that's just doubling down too much.
A little too risky, yeah.
Come on now. Like, if they were the Redskins, I'd have a little more faith in them. Commies, I don't have a lot of faith in the commies. Doug, what's your last pick in the NFL?
My last pick is Vikings-Chargers. I'm taking the Vikings +3.5. Chargers, that offensive line is kind of weak, and I don't understand, but the Vikings have a really good defense. I think they're going to exploit those problems along the Chargers offensive line. And I think they win. I think they can out-win this game by a field goal.
Okay. Bobby, what you got?
My last pick of the NFL, I'm going with the Packers-Steelers game going over 44.5 total points. We obviously know Aaron Rodgers is a pretty spiteful dude, but This is a primetime game. Both teams are playing really well. The Steelers' offense is hot lately, and the Packers are putting up good points too. I think this game will go over 44.5. There's both good defenses in this game. However, both offenses have been moving pretty well, and I think Rodgers is going to have a lot to play for in this primetime game. Give me over 44.5.
John, you have lost all credibility as a sideline reporter. We don't go by you anymore. Last week, he tried to tell me Bucky Irvin was out, and then after I got off the show, I was like, no, he's not. What the hell is he talking about? This time,
sideline reporters got to get everything right.
What's that?
Sideline reporters got to get everything right.
Exactly. You always have to be right. The one time you're wrong, nobody trusts you ever again. But Irving, I actually got the alert on him yesterday because I've got him in one of my leagues. So, yeah, so that's where we're at on that. The Bucky Irving saga. The injury must be much worse than what they first let on.
Yeah.
Because Todd Bowles actually is the one that said that he's out for week 8. When is their bye week? Next week. So maybe he's back for week 10. But it just seems like they should have put him on the IR.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would have made more sense.
Anyways, it's just shoulder that he's out on. So we'll go back from there. Bobby took the Packers and Steelers over. I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys plus the 3.5. The Cowboys, is it still 3.5? Yeah, 3.5. I just think this is going to be a shootout. And Denver's defense got a little exposed last week from a rookie. You trying to tell me Dak Prescott and company not going to put up points? I have no faith on who's going to win that game, but it's a good matchup. And you're going to give me 3.5. I got to figure this comes down to one score. I just hope it's a field goal. College football as we move on. All right. Bobby, what's your first college football pick?
First college football pick. I'm going with the teaser. I'm going with 2 legs. I got Tennessee minus 1.5 versus Kentucky. They're originally, I think, 7.5 point favorites. I got them going down to minus 1.5 because they play a little iffy on the road. I think they'll get it done against a pretty lackluster Kentucky team, but it could be a little closer than expected. And then the second leg, I got Texas A&M jumping up to plus 3.5 versus LSU. So they just got to keep it within a field goal.
Man, something happened with that line because yesterday it was minus 9.5 for Tennessee.
Yeah,
and you're taking A&M, which takes you to plus 3.5.
Yep.
Okay, Doug, what you got?
3:30 on CBS. I got with Minnesota and Iowa. I'm taking Minnesota plus the 8.5. Iowa's defense is overrated, and there's something wrong. There's something wrong with this game as far as the way they put the points up in the game. How can you favor Iowa at 8.5, but you got the over under at 39.5? To me, there's something wrong here. Just give me Minnesota and this plus points. That defense will keep it close.
That's pretty bizarre.
Yeah, I saw that. I honest engine, I almost went that with my stupid underdog. I do know that Minnesota's battling some injuries, but Iowa doesn't blow anybody out.
No.
They normally don't even blow out like their homecoming game. So, yeah, giving up 8.5, it seems almost too good to be true, which normally is. Give me SMU over 27.5 team total. They are on the road at Wake Forest. This SMU team continues to get undervalued. I really don't get it, but I do know one thing. They're going to score some points. I don't know if they're going to get the W. They're only 3.5 point favorites. So a situation where you may want to tease them both down in a same game parlay, but just give me SMU and the team total over. Bobby, what's your next one?
My next pick, I'm going to go with the 12:45 game here. Auburn, they're playing against Arkansas. They're finally getting a break after having to go against a gauntlet of really good teams. And in each of those games, they kept it pretty close within one possession. They're plus 2.5 versus Arkansas this weekend. I think if they're able to keep it close against all those good teams, typically within one possession, I think they'll be able to get a win over here at Arkansas. So give me Auburn plus 2.5.
Auburn plus 2.5.
Yep.
Doug, what you got?
I got Kansas and Kansas State at 12 noon. Giving me the over at 56.5 on this game. Neither one of these teams have a defense worth mentioning, and both teams combined are 5-1 when they hit the over mark and whoever they were playing. So I could easily see them each scoring 30. They're going to go up and down the field all day.
So over 56.5 for Doug on the Kansas State-Kansas game. It's weird that game's not played at the end of the season, right?
Yeah, you'd think it'd be one of those rivalry games.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Governor's Cup that they play every year. This is
Governor's
their big
Cup on HBO Max.
Yep.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. All right.
Uh-huh.
My or on TNT. If that was doing TNT, getting their fingers involved in college football. Give me a teaser on the college football side of it. I'm going with the Southeastern Conference. I want to make sure it hasn't jumped up and down like we've already seen with a couple of these. Okay, yeah. So the first part of it is Texas A&M getting 3.5 on a teaser. And the second part, I'm going to take the Vanderbilt Commodores plus 3.5. So they're both getting a field goal and hook. I really think that both of them will probably win the games, but LSU fans are already ticked off at Brian Kelly. It's going to take one more loss, and they're going to be talking about firing him, which is really is insane if you think about it. But Vanderbilt continues to be undervalued, and it's mainly because of brand name. That's the only reason. If Vanderbilt was wearing Tennessee, Auburn jerseys, whatever, everybody would be taking them seriously. Because they're Vanderbilt and they're 6-1, and what they had, they got one loss, very close loss to Alabama, right? And yet they're at home and they're only 2.5-point favorites against Missouri. I just think they continue to be undervalued. They're a damn good football team.
Yeah.
That quarterback's playing lights out.
Absolutely.
Doug, what's your last in the college football fray?
Noon on ABC. I've got Ole Miss and Oklahoma University. I got Ole Miss at plus 5.5. I mean, last week they blew that 9-point lead. They blew that lead. I know they blew that lead last week, but it came down to, as far as covering the spread, Georgia making that one stop that they went back and kicked a field goal on. And Oklahoma doesn't score a lot of points. Elite defense, probably the best defense in college football, but they don't score a lot. And I think Ole Miss can just keep it within. I think they can keep it within a field goal. So,
Bobby, what you got?
All right, my last college football pick. I'm going to go to the Houston-Arizona State game at 8 o'clock. Actually, I think that game's at 9 o'clock. I'm going with the over here, over 46.5. When Arizona State's been playing at home, they've been putting up more points than usual. And Houston, they've been a pretty high-scoring offense themselves throughout this year. Give me this game going over 46.5 total points. Not a very high bar to reach for a college football game as well.
No, it's not. That's actually a surprisingly low number.
Yeah, it stood out to me.
Mine is, well, Doug just mentioned it. So we'll go with the
double down.
Ole Miss plus 5.5. I just have a hard time seeing Ole Miss not being able to cover that number. I'm a little confused by it being so low. Maybe I'm missing something, but Oklahoma to me got exposed. Now, Oklahoma tends to, for whatever reason, not in recent memory, not stand up in the big game against Texas. So it could just have to do with that matchup. But you're going to give me 5.5. Ole Miss has to come out. Now, one thing makes me concerned: Ole Miss's defense is trash. They could not stop Georgia at all in the second half, and Georgia's offense isn't exactly, the Don Coryell Chargers of the 1980s. Like, this is a very just kind of plug it along kind of offense, and they couldn't stop. They couldn't get one stop. They get one stop. Maybe they win that game. So Ole Miss does concern me on that, but they ought to put some points on the board. All right, Bobby, what is your lock?
My lock of the week, I'm going back to that first pick on my list, 49ers plus 1.5 versus Texans. I think that's a steal. The Texans are in a nightmare position right now, and I feel confident in the 49ers, whether they have Purdy or Mac Jones at quarterback. I think they'll win this game.
Douglas, what is your lock?
My lock is take Vandy and the 2.5 points against Missouri. I don't know why people don't understand this Vandy team is really a good football team. I've watched them week after week, and they prove it week after week. Even in games they've lost, they've looked great. So, yeah, definitely give me Vandy and the 2.5.
To be honest with you, and one of them, I believe, is the bias of it's not just the fact of the name brand Vanderbilt. It's the dork bias. Because when you think of Vanderbilt, you think of like nerdy dorks, right? You think of like MIT with a football helmet on is what you think of. And they can't get past it. And look, they've earned that. They've learned that moniker for years. Years and years. Vanderbilt. Hell, I used to have season tickets to Vanderbilt football. I've watched the crap. But it's the dork bias. People think of Vanderbilt, they go, dude, the Big Bang Theory. Nah, I'm not betting on them this week. Give me the other team. And so that's what it all comes down to. My lock of the week, I'm going to give you a same game parlay that you can tease up. Got this. This is going to take you to a minus 120 across the board. You can get this in Hard Rock. I'm assuming you can get it in all the other books, but the only one I can see in Florida is Hard Rock. The game isn't it tonight, I believe? Yes, 7:30 tonight. No, I'm sorry, 7:30 tomorrow night. It's Friday night's game. Cal, you can push them up to a 12.5 point favorite, and you can take the under all the way up to under 57.5. Neither one of these teams are going to move the ball much, and I don't know how the hell Cal is an underdog across the board. I don't understand it. But you can tease that up. Now you might want to get on it closer because you wait till closer to kickoff. They start tearing all of them down, and all you get are the regular point spreads. But I grabbed it last night. Actually, I think it's gone up a bit because I want to say last night when I grabbed it, the over was 49.5. Now it's 50.5. So you can probably get it close to 58. But anyways, I'll take the 57.5, and away we go. California's 5-2. No one believes in their 5-2. Virginia Tech sucks. Has anyone watched Virginia Tech? They're like a northern version of Florida State. They're terrible. They're awful. All right. I believe we are at the cool games. All right. Cool games. Doug, we'll let you go first. What's your cool game of the weekend, college or pro?
I'm going to go college. I know everybody's going to – I know you're going to laugh at me when I say that, but this Kansas State game is because people don't realize this is the second oldest rivalry in all of college sports. They've been playing this – they've been playing this game almost close to –
the reason why it's on TNT.
I know, but I just like it because it's just one, like I said, it's like the second oldest rivalry in all of college football. And it's just one of those mainstays, good or bad, TNT or ABC aside. It's a great traditional football game to play, and that's why I'm choosing it. I'm just looking at it from a historic point of view.
All right, Bobby, what do you got for your cool game?
My cool game of the week. We were talking about this team just a minute ago. I'm gonna go to that Missouri Vandy game. I mean, this is a big game in the SEC. This is a big game in terms of the playoff picture. I mean, both these teams are sitting at 6-1. They're both playing really well right now, and they're both could be looking at gunning for a playoff spot in the near future. I think this is, like you said, it's getting a little underrated because Missouri not always a top dog in the SEC, and Vanderbilt usually not a top dog in the SEC. So people are kind of overlooking this, but this is a great game.
I'm going to go to the NFL because honestly, this is a dud week for the college football. I think there was either 11 or 13. I have it jotted down somewhere. I don't know what I did. It was either 11 or 13 Power 4 teams are not even playing this weekend. Yeah. So given the NFL, I know the low-hanging fruit's Packers, Steelers. Everyone's going to be kind of looking at that. I think if this was the year after he left Green Bay, I'd be more into it. Give me Broncos, Cowboys.
Okay.
Broncos are 5-2. It's the 425 game, which means the game of the weekend as far as the NFL TV world goes. Everybody fights for that 425 spot. The Cowboys are better than the 3-1 record that they're showing. They kind of played with their food in a couple of games. This team could easily be at a 5-win mark in their own right. I'm curious to see. What I'm hoping I get to see is a good old-fashioned shootout. Bo Nix versus Dak Prescott. Let's go. And you got CeeDee Lamb back. You've got a Denver team that I think has an underrated receiving core. That's my cool game. What is your one big thing, Bobby, as we walk it off?
It's too early to celebrate Florida firing Billy Napier because we're still having to hire that next head coach next year. I know we're going to have an interim for the rest of the year, but that is something we do have to look forward to. And it's there. The times of hiring coaches from Louisiana Lafayette, Colorado State, colleges of that nature, that needs to end. It's time to get serious and hire. I would like Kenny Dillingham. I think he's a great option. Leia from Vandy, of course, we were just talking about how good his team is right now. And then a little bit more of bigger splash hires, maybe like Lane Kiffin, if we can pull him away from Ole Miss or Drinkwitz from Missouri. We got to make a big hire. No more trying to get crafty and hiring a coach from some small school. We got to make a legit hire because, frankly, Scott Strickland's job is on the line as well. So it's on him too.
See, I think the problem has been that they haven't hired good football coaches.
That would be true.
And they worry too much about the glitz and glamour, and if they do that again, like a Lane Kiffin hired, that's glitz and glamour. I'm telling you right now, that's not going to work out. I tell you 1,000%, Lane Kiffin will fail at Florida, and it'll be another rinse and repeat in the next 3 years. Like that Florida job has been a rinse and repeat since Urban Meyer left.
We're in the state that Tennessee was. We're in the state that Tennessee was about a decade ago.
But even worse because the turnover has been awful.
True, they stuck it out with Butch Jones for forever. Yeah.
It's been almost 20 years.
Yeah.
When Urban Meyer left to go to Ohio State, that was it. Everybody else since then gets fired after 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Either A, they're not doing a good job, or B, the unrealistic Florida fan base thinks they're not doing a good job. Dan Mullen, case in point. Should have kept Dan Mullen. That was one of the dumbest firings I've ever seen in all of sport. And I'm glad they did it, but it wasn't fair to him. He had one bad year. Now, look, if you wanted to fire Dan,
Akers had 4 bad years.
All the crap that he did prior to that, all the weird stuff that he did where he was hiding the kid who's a rapist on campus, and his roommate said, "To hell with this, I'm going to USC." All that stuff. You fire him for that, but you don't fire him because he has one semi-down year when he just took you to the SEC title game the year before. Doug, what's your one big thing as we walk this off?
One big thing is look for next season. Look for Penn State to reach out to Greg Schiano and bring him in as that new head coach of Penn State.
My one big thing is going to be LSU is going to lose, and when they lose, there's going to be a lot of pressure, and we'll see what happens on Monday morning. But there's a good chance LSU does the same stupid thing and fires a coach when they shouldn't be firing him. I don't like Brian Kelly as a person. I'm not that impressed with him as a head coach, but honestly, he's done a pretty damn good job. And to kick him out for no reason is stupid. What should be the one big thing is Florida State starting their coaching search. And I do believe they're doing that this weekend. They just don't want to announce it. But the strategy is beyond stupid. I don't even know if I want to watch them anymore this year. I'm tired of I told my wife, I said, when the baseball season ends and whatnot, I said, if you want to go do something on Saturday, let's go do it. I said, because I'm not going to sit here and waste my damn Saturdays of watching this dip crap of a bunch play awful football. And I really don't think it's that bad of a roster. Last year, I was convinced it was roster. This year, it's got to be the coach, man. It's got to be the coach. We'll see you next time. Great job, guys. And we'll see you same bat time, same bat channel next Thursday morning.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
It's closing time, y'all. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Have a great one. On your way out, please like and subscribe. And don't forget to tip your favorite bartender. We'll see you. I'm Magee, signing off for Braves Country Radio.